Good morning, Ultimate Hustlers. Listen, today we're talking about how to build a strong brand and also how to pivot when necessary with legendary entrepreneur and brand strategist Ryan Kugler. Listen, man, if you have a business and/or a brand and you're trying to take it to the next level, this is an episode that you cannot afford to miss. So do me a favor, go ahead and comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and/or your brand, and smash that share button. And if you stick around to the end, Ryan is going to really help those of you who are solopreneurs lay the foundation of taking your business and your brand to the next level. So let me know who you are, where you're from, what you got going on. Just do not post any links. And y'all know how we do. Let's kick it. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, Ultimate Hustlers, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur from MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com, coming to you live and direct from our studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not gotten your free copy of Monetize My Life, 4 incredibly simple ways to turn your passions into profit with little to no startup costs, you are doing yourself a disservice, man. Listen, you've got a gift, talent, special ability that God gave you for free. Now you have the internet and social media, which gives you the ability to transform that thing into an income stream for yourself. And this book will help you do that. For a limited time, you'll also get instant access to my most popular course, How to Become an Influencer. Yes, both free. Just cover shipping for the book, and it is yours. Go to monetizemylifeacademy.com/free book, and it is yours. We got a great show for you today. We're talking how to build a strong brand. And for those of you who experience the turbulence of COVID-19, like we all did, there's an art and a science to making strategic pivots and how to do that profitably. So Ryan Kugler is going to be sharing with us how to do that. Before we bring him on, got a couple quick announcements that I want to run through. Monetize My Life Academy has now opened its enrollment, and you can test it out for just $1, ladies and gentlemen. This month, we're talking business credit basics. So if you enroll for $1, you'll get into our group and you'll get the links that you need to enroll in the different classes that will be taking place this month to help you lay the foundations for your business so that you can line yourself up for business credit and business funding. Also, if you have a business and a brand and you want to get it in front of our audience, we do have several cost-effective sponsorship options for you to get your information out there. So all you got to do is text keyword sponsorship to 314 874-6887. Again, text keyword sponsorship to 314-874-6887. And the team will be happy to help you understand what the options are for you to get your 30-second commercial in on the show, or if you got flyers or other promos and you want to do drops and things of that nature, we can help shout your brand out and get you to the next level. So with that, those are our announcements for today. But again, we're talking how to build a strong brand. And I've got a very, very special guest that I want to introduce you guys to this morning. Successful entrepreneur and brand strategist, Ryan Kugler has over 25 years of experience in building profitable businesses from conception within both Fortune 500 organizations as well as newly launched startups. He operates on a few key principles. Be nice to everyone. Always return phone calls and stay in communication with everyone. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Ryan Kugler. How are you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, listen, Ryan, we're going to get into your backstory and all up in your business. But before we do that, I like to do something that we call the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. It's where I share a favorite quote to get folks thinking this morning. And then if you have a favorite quote that you would like to share, you're more than welcome. And if not, you can just give me your thoughts on this one. But today's quote of the day is in regards to leadership. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because they want to do it, right? Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done, but because they want to do it. And that is President Dwight D. Eisenhower. So, Ryan, you got a favorite quote, or do you want to chime in on that one?
I want to chime in on that one. I think that's great. To me, it comes down to one word: delegation. And delegation is the key to expanding and growing any business, because everyone starts out as a business owner. They are one person, and then they expand and they grow and they hire other people. And then you're delegating those jobs and responsibilities. And I do believe in that, because that is one thing. The more you can delegate, the more you can give work to other people or jobs, the faster you're going to grow and the company's going to grow and become bigger and something that you can sell off and really make some money off of.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, man, leadership is one of those things that you really have to study and you really have to get good at, especially in business, in the world of entrepreneurship. And my mentor always talks about being charismatic, moving people without touching them. And this is a similar quote along those lines. You have to be able to paint a vision so big, so bright, so robust, so engulfing that the people you're delegating to actually want to do what you're telling them to do. That means they have the right attitude about getting it done. And that's how you lead. If you have to force people to do something, then chances are you've either hired the wrong person or you are not painting the vision big enough to make them want to help you get that thing done. So that is the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done, but because they want to do it. So Ryan, my friend, tell everybody, who the heck is Ryan Kugler?
Well, first of all, I do love your quote, and I'm still thinking about it. And just one last little thing is,
Let's do it.
What I have found is, I own an event business. It's one of the 3 businesses, and I'll get into that in 20 seconds. I have to tell people, hey, we're going to go set up this event. We're going to do this. And I have to tell them what to do. So I'm delegating, and I'm a leader, and I'm giving them jobs to do. And what I found the best way to do, riding on the coattails of what you just said, is give them purpose. Give them a reason that job needs to be done. And I found every time I say, hey, listen, we're going to go do this, and here's why you're going to do it. Every time someone goes, hey, I really appreciate you explaining why I need to go move the trash can from over there to over there. Because then they get it and they feel better and they're like, okay, I'm really going to go do this now. So that's just something I've learned, is when you give them the reason why, the purpose, that leadership then carries through and they do even a better job doing what you ask them to do.
Love it. Anyway, love it. Love it. Makes sense. Makes sense.
So I'm Ryan Kugler. I'm based here in Los Angeles, California. I've lived here for some 20 years. I've moved around the country just with family and growing up, from Chicago to LA to Florida to Oregon, etc. I started out in a family business. when I finished school, actually at age 17, and the family business grew. And it was a business of selling videotapes, movies, to video rental stores, something that doesn't really exist anymore, and people really don't know it other than Redbox. Obviously, that business has kind of declined, gone, dead, and I had to pivot. I had to change quickly and started another business, which I currently own, called Plan B. But at the same time I started Plan B, I said, you know what? I don't feel comfortable just having one business. I need to have two more because I need to have multiple sources of income. I did not like relying on one paycheck every Friday. So I decided to start two other businesses, of which one is an event business, which I just explained, which we do events nationwide, a lot of for nonprofits. 90% of our customers are nonprofits and charities that we help them achieve their goodwill goals and putting on races or galas or auctions, etc. And then the third business is a marketing business, speaking of brand strategy, of helping other companies, blue chip companies, achieve their goals in promoting their company with some high-end marketing material, physical brochures that actually play a video upon opening. So Ryan Kugler is a guy that owns and runs three businesses, and I don't mean silent owner of these businesses. I'm actively doing it with my employees every day.
Gotcha. Yes.
Ryan,
I'm gonna need you to lean to the right. You lean. There we go.
Sorry,
there we go. Good. So let's dive in a little bit because clearly, if you're in a family business, then entrepreneurship has been something that's been part of you because you've seen it exercised by your parents and other family members. What was the earliest recollection that you had that your family was different? Right? It wasn't. I mean, I'm sure you guys are going to work because you're building a business, but it hits a little different when you own that business, right? When did you realize that, oh, well, we do work, but we're a little different in the way we approach this economic situation?
I'm going to use the word cold calling. So in the business, we had to do a lot of cold calling, which still exists, but not really anymore. Maybe it's cold emails now. Yeah. But so my father owned the business, and he basically trained me to be a salesperson. Okay. So I am good at making calls. I'm good at prospecting, which means finding new accounts. I'm good at basically closing. So my father taught me a lot about sales, which is where I am today. Is I own three businesses, and in business, whatever it is, if you own a coffee shop to a bakery to an auto shop, you're selling. You're selling your parts. You're selling your service. So the business we had, I was the salesman, and I basically went from someone that just made cold calls, prospecting we called it, and it was instilled upon me, make more calls, and I was doing 60 an hour or 80 an hour, and hundreds a day, and I'd sit and track it. So that's what was instilled upon me by my father, who was the owner of the company. Hey, how many calls did you make? Okay, good. Let's make more. Okay, good. Like, how many leads did you get? And we had all these like substats, which means we tracked, okay, like how many calls, how many people I talked to, how many people I actually like got them to agree to receive my material. So that was probably the first thing to answer your question. That was just instilled upon me to kind of work harder, just keep going. When you're cold calling, it's quantity versus quality. And sometimes that happens in business where you want more because it then bleeds down to more quality in the end.
I love it, man. And that's something that I wish I had got my sons involved in early on. They're working through that now. That talk about the importance of that as a skill set. A lot of people see sales as something sleazy, as something they don't want to take part of. But I don't care what you're doing. If you're a janitor, the reason you're keeping the building clean is so that somebody can sell a customer that walks into that building. So all businesses hinge on sales. Talk about the importance of having that as a skill set, though.
I do agree. So the skill set of sales, I think that some people it's innate in. Okay, I think my father always told me it's innate in me, and I'm the best prospector he ever found, or the best salesman, or whatever. But I think sales can be easily learned and had by communication, which is one of the things you said at the beginning of the show to introduce me. Thank you. If you're nice to people and you're communicating and you know how to communicate and talk to people with a smile on your face, and you can do it without being shy, you're in sales. You know how to do it. It's a matter of just getting out in front and talking to people. And that is the key. If you know how to do that and you can talk to multiple people, then you're fine. And all you then need to do, add to your patter, is a pitch of whatever it is. But you're constantly selling, whether you're trying to get a partner, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, hey, you want to go on a date? You're selling. You go to the store and you're like, hey, I'm looking for this color of, paint for my house. You're selling yourself on paint to the guy who's selling you the paint. So you're constantly selling, and it's already innate in you. And it's now you just need to multiply it and just keep doing it more with a list of potential prospects.
Yeah, I think you're certainly right, man. It just adding one word can transform everything. It's intention, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now I've always been selling. Now it's like I have an intention to sell because I want to serve people in what it is that I have. I have what I believe is a solution that can help make their lives easier, better, more efficient, or whatever the case is. So yeah, I think that's a skill set that everybody should develop in the business arena with the intention of turning a profit. So you said at 17, you guys kind of got into, that's when you really started in the family business. And it was at that age, right? You kind of start finding out that, hey, man, I can start really doing the things that a business does. When did you know that one day you would own a business?
So yes, I started at 17. I started working in the warehouse of the company because we were moving videotapes, DVDs, movies out to video stores and stores. And then my father gave me the opportunity and said, hey, why don't you, I said, I want to make more money. Salesmen do make more money. So anyone that's listening, you're going to make more when you sell, and you can control your income a little bit better. So I realized that by seeing the other salesmen in the company driving up in maybe a better car, maybe better dressed. And I was like, I can do that. So I asked my father, hey, can I get on the phone and start selling? And that's when it really started, because you can really, you're not limited when you're at a job where you're making an hourly wage. You're kind of limited. It's kind of done. You wait for your bonus at the end of the year. But if you're selling and you can know how to communicate, and by the way, the word you just said, intention, I applaud you for that. That is the key to any future of your life. If you have the intention to do something, whether it's working at the milkshake machine at McDonald's and making the best milkshake, that is great. You're achieving your purpose. If your intention is to start a business, that's great. But the key thing, step 0 to doing anything and achieving your success, is deciding, intending on doing it, and making it go right.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So this family business, obviously, things progressed. Did your father have to make a pivot because of the way things went digital, like almost in the blink of an eye, man? It was like, man, there's a video store on every corner, and it was like, poof, now they're not.
Right.
So how was that transition for you guys and in terms of the family business? I know we're going to get into what you do, but I'm just curious to know, what did you learn from your father as being a business owner in a declining industry, or an industry that is rapidly changing? What were some of the things that he put in place to transition?
Well, in the beginning days, when we started hearing the word for the internet, by the way, for anyone that's listening, in the beginning was called the superhighway. That was a term that was promoted back in the 90s, saying, oh, there's something called the superhighway, and it's going to transform everything. And back then, I think you had AOL and Prodigy and a couple other internet servers where you'd get on. And so my father basically started pivoting and saying, okay, well, let's start doing music. So we went from movies to music, and then let's start doing books. So the pivoting was happening, and I was seeing it and seeing the range. But I don't think the pivoting was happening quick enough, because music you can download, books you can download. So unfortunately, the verticals that were picked were being downloaded. But then we started to get into, we call it widgets. So a widget is anything that you hold that you can, use, play with, buy. You walk into a Walmart, a Target, it's full of widgets, anything you can buy. So we started saying, hey, you know what? If you can buy one widget, you can buy another. So why are we just focusing on movies, music, or books? Why don't we start selling keyboards or computers or phones or pens or staplers? And that's really where then I took it and said, okay, I'm going to pivot and do everything differently. Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you're right. It's like, man, and it sounds like your dad was at least on the cutting edge to embrace the internet early on, because a lot of folks was like, oh man, this internet thing ain't going to do nothing. It ain't going to be around for this. Hey man, this is going to come and go, man. I'm not getting involved in that. And here we are 25 years later, on the consumer side, of course, we know that, the military has used it a lot longer, but on the consumer side, 25, 30 years is the internet. And it's like, no, this thing ain't going nowhere. In fact, your whole life lives on top of this thing. And I find it interesting, Ryan, that in 2021, I still run across people who swear they're not a computer person. Oh, I'm not. I'm just not a computer person. I'm just not a techie. I'm like, listen, this stuff is our life now. You're just gonna live in the Stone Ages because you don't want to go through a short learning curve to get some basic skills in this particular area. So cool. So right now, Ryan, we're going to do a segment that we call 1 Minute Motivation. That's where I share a short 1 minute motivational clip. And I'll ask you to give a couple of takeaways. I'll give a couple of takeaways. The audience usually comments a couple of takeaways as well. We do have a question, and we'll get into that. Somebody's asking, how do you pay yourself? So we'll talk a little bit about that on the other side of this as well. And we'll get into the different companies that you have and why did you pick those verticals. So right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, we do something called 1 Minute Motivation. I play a short 1 minute motivational clip. And I just believe in personal growth and self-development in the right direction, because everything you consume contributes to your personal growth and self-development. It could just be developing you in the wrong direction. So I like to give the folks something positive to start with. So we're going to drop this 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
Put some pressure on yourself. Get out here and get about it. Look, I'd love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I'd love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich, do a couple of things. That ain't happening. You got to get real doggish. You got to get downright funky if you want to make it. Now, like I was telling you before, if you want to be ordinary, you ain't even got to listen to me. Just go on about your business. If you think ordinary is cool, ain't no problem. It's some really, really wonderful ordinary people. But if you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you're going to have to do extra. You put extra on top of ordinary and you come up with extraordinary. It's no other way. I'm sorry, but here's the fact. All of you have extraordinary capabilities. All of you. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category.
Man, that is, of course, the voice of Steve Harvey, one of the hardest working men in entertainment these days. Steve Harvey is everywhere. Ryan, one of the reasons I love to do this is because I'm amazed that we all listened to the same thing, but we heard something different. So what did you hear?
I heard decide.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And first of all, I respect Steve Harvey. I think it's great. And I decide. He basically said, you got to decide you're going to do it. And you got to not let other people take you down and, steer you away from your goals. So that's what I took away from that, which is no matter who you're talking to, everyone comes up with an idea for a business. Everyone says, you know what, I'm going to make a new car. I'm going to make a new this. I'm going to make a new cell phone case and I'm going to sell it on Amazon. And they're always going to tell their friends, and their friends go, oh, you shouldn't do that. There's 4 million of them, or, oh, that's not doing well, or I saw it in the dump bin at the dollar store. So, here's the deal. You can't, when you got an idea, first of all, that idea, you just look at on the internet, 50 other people are doing it. So how is your idea going to be better? Well, first you have to decide. You have to have the intention to do it and make it better. And then find a niche that's going to have it be better, whatever that product or service is. And then just stick to it. Stick to the passion and go for it.
I love it. Yeah. I talk to my sons about this all the time. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a little extra. And here's the thing about the extra, though, that most people don't get, Ryan, is you have to be consistent with the extra and allow it to compound, right? So my sons came up playing basketball, and I encouraged them that, hey, listen, if you just got to the gym just a little bit earlier, and you shot 10 shots before everybody else, and you stayed just a little bit later, you shot 10 shots after everybody else. That's 20 extra shots per day. Imagine if you made that your habit throughout your career. How many more shots do you get up than everybody else with just a little extra? And I think people miss it because they do a little extra one time and they don't see a huge result. No, it's like getting 1% better every day. At the end of the year, you 365% better than you were the previous year. And that, my friend, I believe is a huge takeaway, is don't be afraid to do the little extra, but be consistent with the little extra and allow it to compound, because that's how you go from ordinary to extraordinary. I think energy Therapy also said the same thing. In order to be extraordinary, you have to be and do a little extra. And man, decide, man. You just got to decide that you're going to do it. And one of the things that I hate that most people have a bad habit of doing, Ryan, is they care too much about what they think other people are going to think. And I'm like, man, it's
do what you're going to do.
You can't care too much about what other people think. That was 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. If you are a solopreneur and you're trying to figure out how to build a brand, you're trying to figure out how to use the internet, you're trying to figure out how to use social media, and you're trying to figure all of these things out as a solopreneur, Monetize My Life Academy is the premier digital marketing mastermind for solopreneurs. So go to MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com and test out what we got going on for just $1 for your first month. If you like it, stick around. If you don't, then no harm, no foul. MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. So Ryan, we're talking all about your background and your beginnings, right? I know you have 3 companies now. Are these the first 3 companies, or did you have other companies that didn't work out so well that landed you on these 3?
Yeah, so I have 3 companies now, and they basically all started in 2013. Before that, I worked for one company called DVA. It was the family business where we sold, as I mentioned earlier, movies, DVDs, and VHS to video stores. That company I was in pretty much from when I finished school up until 2013. It was really one company. Did I have others beyond that? No. That was the thing. So I did that company for some 25 years, okay, and 23 maybe. And it was just one company, one paycheck. And I think just as time evolved and things changed, and after coming off the 2008 recession, I was like, why am I just relying on this one entity, this one company? Let me do this. Let's just go hog wild here and just do 3 things. So I think that's really what happened there. I mean, they all kind of came into play, because you're going to say, well, how'd you come up with 3? Not to jump the gun here, but it was kind of like, one was an event company, and I was, as a hobby, I was helping to put on events for people for a nonprofit organization. So I was out there on the weekends doing this, and I actually enjoyed it. It was like my golf game. It was kind of fun doing that. So that one just kind of like, I just said, hey, I'm going to start doing this. And people liked what I was doing. And I said, I'm going to turn this into a company and, you know, start helping other people beyond the nonprofit that I was working for.
And let's hang a pin in that for a second, because this is what I teach and Monetize My Life. Is like, you were doing something for fun.
Yes.
Right. And ultimately that became a thing, right? It's like, everybody is saying, hey, I like it. You're good at this. You look like you're having fun at this. And you're like, you know what? I like it too. And then somebody will pay me to do this, then I'll keep doing it. And I see so many people who have these things that they love doing, they enjoy doing, and they do them as hobbies, but they don't see the opportunity to turn it into a business. While on the other hand, they're going to a job that they absolutely hate. And I'm like, so talk about you talked a little bit before about passion and sticking to that thing. So you took something that you liked and you turned it into a business. What was that transition like? Walk us through that.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I was going out on the weekends, and we were putting on a charity run, a 5K, 10K run. You've probably heard about them, seen about them, or your listeners have. And I was the guy helping and moving tables and doing this. And I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. You know, you're kind of in charge. You set up this whole event. You take it down 5 hours later. You know, hundreds or thousands of people show up, and they come to you and say, this is a great event. So happy you helped out. And I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. I like this. So anyone that's out there working on a nonprofit or helping out in a soup kitchen or whatever you're doing, you know, with your local church, and you're doing it well, like you just said, turn it into maybe something that you can monetize, that you can make money off of. Not trying to say, hey, hurt somebody, but I'm just saying, like, there might be a business there because you're such a good event planner, or you're such a good person who sets up the flowers at the church. Maybe you can have a floral business. So the transition was really, I liked it. People started coming up to me and saying, oh my God, this is so great what you did. This is a good business. And then they'd say, can you do my event? So for example, you're doing the flowers at your local church. Maybe someone's going to come to you and say, hey, I got a wedding. Can you do the flowers for my wedding? And then you go, yes. And then, setting up the business now, you got to go get a business permit. You got to go get a logo. You got to get up a website. That all takes a little bit of time, but honestly, it can be done in days, and it's not that expensive. Maybe total $500, $1,000. Set up a website, get a name, create a business card. It's called put up a shackle, basically, for your company name and who you are, and then you just start promoting it. But you got that other gig, that first gig, that wedding, from the flowers you were doing at your local church. Then that will expand because someone at the wedding, the 100 people are going to go, these are great flowers. Who did it? Oh, this person did. They introduced you. Now you have another client, and it just grows.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. And it comes down to two things. It is, A, you got to decide, right? Just decide that you're going to do it. And then B, with that decision comes the overcoming of the fear, right? There's a huge fear of, failure, fear of being inadequate, fear of, hey, I've never done this before. And that is one of the funniest things, Ryan, that I hear all the time is, well, I've never done this before, so I'm not sure I can make it work. Well, when you went to your job the first day, you had never done that job before, but somebody taught you how to do it, and now you can do it in your sleep.
Yes.
So you probably, if you put some energy and effort into learning how to do it, you can get good at the business side of it, or you can do what you said, delegate. You can hire out, where if you are the creative, then hire somebody to take care of the business and, make that thing work. So you got the event planning business where you set up these events, but then you have two other companies as well. Let's walk through how they came to be.
I will. One thing to go back quickly. So yes, you have to use self-discipline too, because you're going to start the business and you're going to run into a lot of barriers and issues like getting a business. I mean, dealing with the government, getting business permits and all that. That's just a problem in itself because you got to stay on hold for an hour or you got to go down and show, whatever documentation. So be persistent. Just keep plowing through whatever barriers or stops come your way, because in anything you do, you're going to have problems. You go to work, there's traffic. Look at all the cars in front of you. That's a stop. That's a barrier. You're still going to work. You still get there no matter what the traffic is. So it's the same way in starting a business or doing anything you want. There's always going to be traffic, gridlock. Just keep plowing through, get to your destination. I own two other businesses. Another one is called Plan B. It's a wholesale business. It's the same model. It's the same thing I used to do with movies and music. Basically, I'm a wholesaler, a distributor, and we're buying a product and we're reselling it. It's the same thing, but now we're buying anything from, this last week, plywood to luggage to art to et cetera. So we're buying and selling inventory. It's actually called distressed inventory, liquidation closeouts. We're finding inventory that people don't want, and we're then buying it and reselling it, which means we're actually helping out the earth because we're helping them move it before it goes into the trash dump. And it's called Plan B because Plan A, when you come up with a new idea, a new product, your Plan A is, hey, we're going to sell it to every retailer from Target to Office Depot to Best Buy. Well, if it doesn't sell, there's a Plan B for anything. So, just like if you're in traffic and the road's blocked, there's a Plan B. You get off, you take a detour, you go this way. So I have a company that helps them move products that aren't normally moving. And
I love that.
Go ahead.
Before you get into the third one, because here, again, entrepreneur is just a person who gets paid to solve problems.
Yes.
So I say a good entrepreneur is a good problem solver.
Yes.
A great entrepreneur is a problem hunter. Their eyes are always open for problems to solve. So you're seeing these companies have all of this extra product. Hey, 4th of July came and went. We went and bought a gazillion little flags on a stick.
Yes, you're right. We do get those offers.
They didn't sell. So now we got 2 pallets of little stick flags that we got to get out of here. Otherwise, we got to sit on this for a year. That means we're paying for storage space. That means all of this, they could erode and we could lose. Let's call Plan B and see if we can strike a deal. So was that something that you had researched and found? How did you find that problem to solve?
It's a very good question. And the answer is actually behind my head with this. This is actually a purchase order and invoice. This was the first deal I ever did, and the purchase order is from Target stores out of Minneapolis. We've all heard of Target. Basically, it started out as I was in the business a long time ago, and someone called me and said, like in a rush, it was like, hey, we have this inventory. It's coming from McDonald's. It was supposed to go in the Happy Meals, and it didn't work. And it's really funny. The guy's like, you could just go sell it to Target. And a little light bulb went off in my head, even though he like flicked the switch and said, like, you're right. Why don't I just take this and call Target? I called Target and they said, we'll take it. And I was like, here's a business here. I can just buy something and resell to this person, and I can do it in bulk. So I keep this behind me as a memory of how it started, just like people keep the first dollar they ever made in a frame at a store. That's that. So it really was like, wow. And then I'm like, it was, and I was kind of already going towards it, but I'm like, this is, there is a business here. And then we just expanded, and we work with major corporations and major manufacturers and everybody and anybody. And I mean, between the three businesses, the clientele, the customers I deal with is the top to the bottom of who you read about in, business news.
Gotcha.
So it's everything and anything from Disney to GE to, any product you walk by in a store, I've probably dealt with the company or had something to do with it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And then that third business I know is the marketing brand. So talk about how that came to be. And then how do you work all these businesses simultaneously?
Thank you. So the third business is is a marketing business where we make high-end marketing material for people. And basically we make brochures. You can call us a printer, but we're a little bit beyond that. We actually put a TV screen, a small screen inside of the brochure, of the physical paper brochure that plays a video. So someone gets a brochure, a paper brochure or a cardboard brochure, they open it up, and then there's a screen in there that automatically projects a video to them and starts playing their corporate company video you might see online or on their website. So this is, a lot of companies use this because not everyone wants to click a link to watch a video, or not everyone's computer savvy, like you said. So this is a way to, get something in someone's hands physically where they can hold it and see it, which, everything is cyclic and everything comes back around. So as much as everyone's on the internet, getting emails, going to websites, you still get mail, you still get, marketing material. And this is marketing material, which also has evolved and pivoted into boxes. So a lot of people want to present a new product to their customer. Hey, they'll look at this new stapler I made. So we make a box that holds the stapler and plays a video on how the stapler works. So that's really, that is the third business that I do. And so again, we work with high-end customers who are looking to present new products, anything, from Sony to Deloitte to Capgemini to all these huge billion-dollar corporations, to Virgin to Lufthansa Airlines, that are all looking to somehow, they need the product to present their new product or service or what they're doing. To Comcast, we just did a big promotion for them. And then to answer your last question was, how do I run all three businesses at the same time? I call it a layered company. I think I coined the word, I don't know. But basically all three companies are layered on top of each other, and all of my employees, and I don't have a lot of employees. I'm very, I'm very good with the budget and all that. We have 5 employees in the office, and all 5 work all 3 companies. So if the marketing person, I have a marketing person, the marketing person is doing the marketing for all 3 companies. Right. Obviously, you have a CFO, a financial person. That person's paying the bills for all 3 companies. And I feel it actually makes the job kind of fun. So it's not like that person comes to work and hates their job because they're doing the same thing every day. They're doing 3 different things every day. Yeah. So they just have to pivot their mind and go, wait, which company are we doing this for? Are we doing this for the marketing, ideal content? Are we doing it for the event business? And the only time it gets really hard, ironically, this does happen. I call it a trifecta. The same account does business with all 3 companies.
Yeah. And that was going to be my next question, because I can imagine that you have some cross promotion and cross marketing that, I mean, you're dealing with the big wigs of all of these companies, and it's very easy to say, hey, we're creating your marketing material, but chances are you got some inventory that you need to unload and get rid of. Yes. So let us do that for you too, right? And hey, your nonprofit organization is doing this 5K run. Well, we could organize that and get your team set up and enrolled and all of that kind of stuff. Man, that is genius.
Yeah, it is. We have one company that we call a trifecta that we do all 3 for. So when we're sitting there having our, production meetings, we go, wait, which company are we talking about this for? Are we doing an event for them, or are we doing their inventory, or are we doing marketing for them? Marketing. Okay, good. Let's think that now. That's the only, when you have a layered company, you have the 5 employees, you have to just redirect them what we're talking about.
Gotcha. Love it. Well, we got to take a quick break here, Ryan. On the other side, I really want to dive into scaling, right? And how do you see, I'm a solopreneur and looking to start building out my team, right? And someone asks, how do you pay yourself? Well, of course, you gotta you got to really structure things and do things in a certain way. So let's talk about how you scaled your companies from, hey, it's just being you, and you start bringing on the right people and start putting a team around you. So on the other side of the break, Ryan's going to talk about how to go from solopreneur to a company with employees and start really building and thinking about scale. But right now, I want to show you guys how you can get your money in order. So I'm going to introduce you guys to my personal coach and mentor, Mr. Brian Dean, and our complete financial makeover. Check this out.
Here's a question for you. Why are you letting another multi-billion-dollar industry and multi-million-dollar partnership pass you by? Think about it. You may have missed the dot-com era. You may have missed the age of the computer. You may have missed technology. But why are you going to miss another opportunity when you can get a small percentage of a billion-dollar pie and change your family's legacy? One thing I know for sure, opportunities are not missed. They're just passed to the next prepared person. My name is Brian N. Bean, founder of the Extra Digit Movement, and one of my business partners gave you this video for one reason. We're about to take the real estate industry and the financial industry by storm, period. Think about it. Everybody ultimately needs a place to stay. Now, I didn't buy this land and these 20 acres with our new partnership that we have with Making Wealth Real Financial. I was very, very blessed to turn $228 into $228,000 in just 8 short months. Making Wealth Real Financial did give me the 750 and above credit score. Making Wealth Real Financial did give me the cash to put in my pocket and close this deal and build my dream home on, guess what? 20 acres. Did I mention to you that we have credit restoration specialists? Did I mention to you that we have enrolled agents with the IRS to help you lower your taxes? Did I mention that we have debt elimination specialists as well? Did I mention that we have negotiators who will help you shred your bills and create positive cash flow? Imagine living the life of your dreams, fishing when you want to fish, building a house that you own. Imagine having business partners who care enough about you to share with you the power of our new multi-million-dollar real estate venture. And guess what? You don't have to be a sophisticated investor. You don't have to be an accredited investor. You don't have to be a real estate specialist. You don't have to be a real estate broker or agent to take advantage of our real estate joint venture partnership. Guess what? The average person now can buy, sell, flip, and invest in real estate without the risk and without the headaches, because we have experts who do all the work. So whether you're ready to invest in real estate or not, take advantage of this opportunity in this short video by getting back with the person who introduced you and just say or text keyword soft intro. That lets us know that you're ready for a deeper dive into the next step to make wealth real for you and your family. Get back with the person who introduced you to the video, and I'll see you guys on step 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. Hey, the phone number you're going to text soft intro to is 314-874-6887. Text soft intro to 314-874-6887 if you need a complete financial makeover yourself. Ryan, we're talking about building brands, and you've done that in 3 companies with 3 distinct verticals, which is pretty interesting. But we got a lot of solopreneurs who watch the show, just getting started out in business, anywhere from personal brand development, social media managers, network marketers, just introducing or getting into entrepreneurship. And a lot of us are on the cusp of scaling, right? So let's talk through how you went from, getting your thing going, and then, it became time to hire. So what did that process look like for you?
So that's a good question. So yeah, when you start a company and you're by yourself and you're like, you got things going on and you got a new account and you're shipping stuff, I think you got to figure out, okay, you got extra money coming in. Do you have the money to pay for another employee who can do the shipping for you? Because yes, you're a one-man band, you're juggling a lot of things, and you got to really look at, well, what is the most needed thing? Well, the way I did it is, what's the thing I don't want to do? So you got a job. There's a part of it you don't like. Let's just all be honest. There's something in that job you hate doing. That is the position you want to fill first, because if you keep doing that thing you hate doing, you're going to then just say, I don't want to do this business anymore. So that's what I think is the first thing you do, is you hire the person to do the part you don't like to do. If it's making calls, if it's working on social media because you're not computer savvy, if it's actually putting the item in a box and shipping it out to your Amazon customer, you don't like doing that, hire someone to do that first. So, and that's how I believe you scale, is because you want to offload the thing you don't like doing, because you want to come to work and like it, because it is a new business. You're going to have a lot of stops, you're going to have a lot of barriers, but you still got the intention, you got the purpose to make that company grow. And then from there, then you do, okay, well, what's going to make me more money? What the bean count? What are you going to get more money out of if you hire another person? Well, obviously, it's usually sales, by the way, which sales can also mean marketing in today's times, because sales really means you got a guy on the phone either receiving calls in or making calls out and selling the customer. Well, marketing is the other thing. These days, I do this too. You just do Google AdWords, PPC, pay-per-click, and you get the calls in. So you don't need a guy actually making calls anymore or prospecting, because Google's doing the work for you. Right. So, but you need someone who knows how to do the Google AdWords and to do all the marketing. So maybe that's the next thing you do, because you want to keep doing what you know yourself that you know how to do the best. So if it's the floral arrangements at the church, or the wedding, you do the floral arrangements because you did it so well, and that's how you got the business. But you hire someone else who maybe does the deliveries, or goes out and buys the flowers, or does the marketing, or pays the bills. And then you just scale from there on up. That's what I've done with my company, is just each person is, when they're needed.
Gotcha. I love it. I heard one of my virtual mentors, Sunny Lenarduzzi out of Canada, say her 3 A's formula. She says every task in her business, she asks herself, is this a task that can be axed? Can I cut this out altogether? Is this a task that I can ask help for in terms of delegating? Or is this a task that I can automate? And that way, if it's something I'm constantly doing over and over in the business, how can I create a process to automate that? To create scale in her business. So I love that. You also have experienced the pivot, right? And know a little bit about that as the industry that you guys started in, as your family business transition and shift. Well, a lot of people experience the need to pivot in 2020, 2019, 2020 because of COVID.
Yeah.
Talk about the mindset that you have to have as an entrepreneur to not only be recognized when you need to pivot, but also be willing to pivot, and then some of the skill sets that you might need to have in place to execute a strategic pivot.
Yes. You always need to be ready to pivot. Number one, you should always be pivoting. Okay. Now, I'm not saying come up with a new product or a new idea, or if you're selling, you got floral arrangements going to the wedding. And I'm sorry I keep bringing that up as an example, but you always need to be ready to pivot and change, because number one, your customer is actually going to help you pivot. So you're doing the floral arrangements at the wedding, and then the customer says, oh man, we need food because our food guy just, left. Well, a flower is a widget. You're buying and selling something. Why can't you buy and sell the food for the wedding now? Especially if your customer has come to you, asked you, begged you, hey, I need this. Can you get me bottled water? Can you get me glasses or plates? So you always need to keep your ears and eyes open for an opportunity to pivot. And that pivot usually comes from your customers. All 3 businesses that I currently run, my customers got me to pivot. Listen to that. All 3 customers. The event business, I was putting on an event for one organization and had other customers come to me and say, I want you to do this for me. Then they came and said, hey, I know you're doing a charity race, but we actually need this event. Can you do this for me? I'm now pivoting. Hey, we actually know that you just really bring the tables and chairs and set up the event. We do more than that. But hey, you know what? We actually need marketing for the event too. Can you do that for me? So every time I've pivoted, it's really the customer coming and saying, hey, can you do this? And you know what my response is always? Yes, I can. Never say no. The opportunity is there. Okay, your mentor, that commercial, that was great. I guarantee he started out doing one item, one service, one product, and his customers kept going, hey, you're really inspiring. I love this, man. Can you mentor me? Hey, I'm going to start a mentoring business and then start a real estate business. So it's like you're just constantly pivoting, and you always want to be ready to pivot. And it's actually not that hard to pivot. If a customer comes and says, hey, I need this, it's like you said, you're coming up with solutions. You're a solution hunter. They don't want to do it. They're not XYZ savvy, so you go do it.
I love it. And I think one of the things that helps pivot, and this is something that I'm getting better at, is building out your network, right? Because if I'm connected with a lot of people, then usually when I say yes, that just means it's a phone call. Oh, yes, you need some marketing? Let me call Ryan. And I'm just going to kind of middleman the deal and just say, hey, here's what it costs for you to get marketing. I'm going to talk to Ryan. He's going to create the materials, and then I'm going to deliver it. And I think so many people think of pivoting, and they think of saying yes to other tasks that can bring in other income. They see it as, I have to then go figure out how to do it. No, I just got to play arbitrage. Listen, I'm just the person in the middle. Hey, I know somebody because we've been in some networking events or they've done some work for me. Hey, man, listen, this person wants this. I told them I can get it done. Let's talk numbers, get it done, and boom. And if it becomes a scalable opportunity, then yeah, you can just keep working, or you can build out your team to actually do the fulfillment of it as well. I love it. So Ryan, we're getting close to the top of the hour, man. And one of the things that I also do on this show is a segment called Freestyle, brother, because I know you got bars, Ryan. You out there in Cali. That's what I mean. You got to have bars to even live on the West Coast right now. No, freestyle is not about rapping or singing or anything like that. But, that's right. But what we do is I want to give you an opportunity as I'm building this media empire that will one day rival Ted Turner and Walt Disney. I don't always ask the right questions, and the conversation doesn't always evolve to where sometimes we want it to go. So freestyle is where I give you an opportunity to take 90 seconds to kind of hit on some things that maybe we didn't cover, or some things that you want to reiterate to help people in the area of building strong brands or pivoting. So this is freestyle on the Cortez Hustle Show, the Ryan Kugler version. Go ahead, bro.
Well, first of all, I want to say you did ask all the right questions, and you do know your stuff. So really well done. And just having this podcast is great. And I mean, just the fact that, monetizing and pivoting and all the things you've said. And so first of all, I commend you. And so my kudos to you rather than me, even though I'm the guest, but thank you. But, really, I'll just reiterate, any idea you get in your head for a business, any thought you have for a product or service you want to sell, literally go after it. Don't give up. Don't stop. Don't just go, oh, I told my mother this and she thinks it's horrible. Anyone you tell any idea to, I'm sorry, X% are going to say it's a horrible idea. Don't waste your time. Why? Because you're the guy that had the idea. You had the spark in your head. Just go run with it. Go pursue it. Decide you're going to do it. Do some research on it. Google it. And I'm telling you, you're going to see that there is a reason to do it. And then you need to stick to it. And also, like we talked about before, which I didn't get to mention about, your son doing 10 more shots in the hoop or showing up early. It's the same with business. Show up 10 minutes early. Show up 15 minutes early. And go make 10 extra calls. Go make X amount more of whatever you're going to do. And you will get something back from it. There is a person that I have been cold calling for 20 years of my life, okay? Didn't get any business. Well, when COVID hit, that person needed something, and they called me, and I made the biggest sale of my entire life combined for the last 27 years. That's what I'm going to say to that. If you just keep persisting, no matter if that person doesn't call you back, just keep leaving a message, keep shooting an email. Something will come back to you. It's karma. It's going to come from that person directly or from another person some other direction. Don't give up just because you made 50 calls or called 5 people asking for money. You will get something back. It just doesn't happen like that. It takes time, but you will get it back. Trust me. There's my 90 seconds.
Do the work, people. Do the work. You cannot plant 1,000 seeds and not reap some sort of harvest.
Totally true. You're going to get something.
Something is coming. Something is going to grow. Now, scripture says that the birds are going to eat some of those seeds. Some of them are going to fall on shallow ground and not produce. But some of those seeds that you scatter will actually fall in the right environment, and they're going to grow and they're going to produce a harvest for you. So you just have to keep doing the work. Brother Ryan, tell everybody how they can connect with you, how they can follow you on social media or any of that kind of stuff.
Thank you. Best is to go to my website, ryankugler.com. If you have any questions, it lays out my bio, who I am. It can direct you to all 3 companies. If something sparked in your head on one of the companies, always welcome to a call. I return all calls, blah, blah, blah. You shoot me an email, you send me a call, I will answer your question. I'm a nice guy like that. I'm in communication. So if you have any questions, great. But honestly, I think, you're the man. You're the guy. You know what buy this man's book. I'm going to. I mean, this guy's got it down. He knows what he's doing. So he is your mentor.
Appreciate it. RyanKugler.com, ladies and gentlemen. You want to know how to do it big. He's the guy that can get you there. So you've been listening to and learning from Mr. Ryan Kugler, founder and CEO of 3 different businesses and 3 different verticals, and yet he makes all 3 of them work. So when you understand that you should have multiple streams of income and that an entrepreneur is simply a person who gets paid to solve problems, figure out how to make it work. Figure out the alignment that needs to be in place and go after it, guys. Steve Harvey said on the 1 Minute Motivation, do the little extra and do it often so that it compounds. Remember, 1% better every day means 365% better over the course of the year. And I'll say this and we'll sign off, Ryan. We are in a place in history where average is being celebrated. And when you celebrate average, what that means is it doesn't take that much more effort to be above average, right? Because everybody else is doing the minimum that they can do to get by. So if you do just that little extra more than everybody else, 5% better, it creates a 95% higher income for you just being 5% better than everybody else. And that's what I believe entrepreneurship is all about, taking on that extra risk so that you can get that extra reward. So appreciate you so much, Ryan, for coming to hang out with us. I know it's early out there on the West Coast. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle. Until we talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. So hustle up.
Thank you.
But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.